The Gokumen, also known as Yubumor, the nighttime wandering woman, is a supernatural creature. In Japanese folklore, it is said to be capable of absorbing the souls of people and is associated with areas where phosphorescent lights shine. The Gokumen is known to be active during the night and can transform between a bird and a woman by shedding or putting on feathers. The image of the Gokumen is that of a woman covered in fresh blood, carrying a baby and stumbling through the pouring rain. According to legends, the Gokumen is born from the grudge of women who died during childbirth. It is known to steal other people's children, carrying them at night while they're crying. It's said to sound like the cries of a Gokumen. After 7 days, the Gokumen would eat the stolen child and go on to steal another if someone left their baby's clothes outside at night, and the Gokumen discovered them. It would leave 2 drops of blood as a sign, and the child would soon be taken. However, it's believed that Gokumen only comes out at night. During July and August, the Gokumen's origins can be traced back to China, and there are legends and references to it in Chinese texts like the Tianzhongji and Benkao Gangmu. When the concept was brought to Japan, the Gokumen transformed into the Yubum, a woman who died in difficult childbirth due to her strong maternal instincts and unfulfilled desires. She turned into a Yokai. The Yubum would often appear as a half-naked woman, covered in bloodstains, asking passers-by to hold her heavy baby, which felt as heavy as a rock. Those who obliged were said to experience good fortune. However, once the baby was held, it became extraordinarily heavy, and the Yubum would attempt to take it back. If someone could resist returning the baby, they would be rewarded with good luck. In one story from Konyaku Monogatari Tales of Times Now Past, a warrior named Subura Toshimori encountered a Yubum on a rainy day. She asked him to hold her baby, and he agreed despite her eerie appearance. As he held the baby, he realized that it was incredibly heavy, but he did not let go. The Yubum's expression changed from sadness to malevolence, and she demanded her child back. Toshimori rode away with the baby, but when he checked, he found that the baby had transformed into 3 tree leaves. Additionally, it's said that Yubum likes to collect people's clipped fingernails to gain insight into their fortunes. If it detects misfortune, it will land on the roof of the person's house and cry out. Another belief is that when someone holds the baby given by the Yubum, the baby's head gradually enlarges and it will eventually consume the person. However, this can be prevented by holding the baby with its head down, its feet up. The baby's head doesn't enlarge, and the person is not devoured. Sujanbi, also known as Sensoji no Hai, is a legend of a vengeful spirit that takes the form of a burning human head. It appears as a head engulfed in flames with gleaming, fiery eyes in the dark of night. On a pitch-black night, when all is quiet and people have peacefully entered their dreams after a day's work, even the animals and trees seem to have fallen into deep slumber. As you cautiously approach, the source of the fire reveals itself to be a burning human head, and this is Sujanbi. In the flickering glow of the ghostly fire, you may notice an anguished expression on the face of a Buddhist priest. The story goes back to a time when the Rokuhara Metsuji temple had an abbot named Zukan. This abbot had an impure heart and a liking for stealing offerings and lamp oil to exchange for money. After his death, he faced the wrath of the Buddha and transformed into Sujanbi. In ancient times, candle production was not easy, and lamp oil was commonly used for illumination. However, lamp oil had considerable value, making it a target for thieves committing these crimes within a temple. Zukan was eventually punished by the principles of Buddhism. In the afterlife, he met severe retribution and transformed into the vengeful spirit, Sujanbi, which now wanders around the vicinity of the Rokuhara Metsuji temple. It is said that faintly visible in the fire, you can discern the pained expression of Zukan as he suffers his fate. The Yubagabi, also known as the old woman's fire, is believed to be formed from the lingering attachment of old women. It manifests as a fireball surrounded by a red lotus-like flame, appearing suddenly from oil lamps or lanterns, floating in the air with a distinct dot-dot sound. There's a Japanese folk legend about a yubagabi. From the Hirao area in Kawachi, an old woman would steal oil from the shrine's lamps every night. And after her death, her spirit transformed into this strange fire. On rainy nights, you can witness a fireball in the sky, typically about 30 centimeters in diameter, dancing round in all directions. Observers are often filled with fear. People walking along dark paths have encountered this fireball and found that, upon close examination, it doesn't resemble fire at all. It's more like a bird, somewhat similar to a chicken. However, from a distance, the way this bird-like creature moves in the air can genuinely resemble a fireball. Legend has it that if it comes straight at you, you should lie on the ground. If it hits you in the face, well, the Jorogumo, also known as the binding bride or spider woman, is a type of spider like Yokai in Japanese folklore. This Yokai takes on the appearance of a beautiful woman and has the ability to capture young men, seducing them before draining their life force and blood. She is described as having silky hair, an exceptionally attractive face, and a seductive smile. Men who fall under her charm often become paralyzed or intoxicated. The Jorogumo possesses an extremely venomous and malicious nature. After seducing a man, she would reveal her true form within 3 nights, surrounded by a multitude of spider minions with green silk. These spiders help her suck the life force and blood from her victim, ultimately devouring the person. The Jorogumo is considered a highly dangerous yokai. The origin story of the Jorogumo involves a beautiful and promiscuous woman in the Kamakura period in Japan. She was married to a local lord, but due to his busy schedule, she often felt lonely. Her loneliness led her to have affairs with other young men behind her husband's back. When her husband discovered her infidelity, he was consumed with rage and locked her in a box filled with deadly spiders. Countless venomous spiders devoured her, and she met a gruesome end. Even in death, her vengeful spirit lingered, and she would frequently appear in forests to seduce passing young men. It's said that the Jorogumo was extremely cruel, but also deeply fearful of fire. In ancient times, there was a person who embarked on a long journey to visit Mount Koya. The road was arduous, and he had been traveling for many days, facing numerous hardships. One day, feeling exceptionally tired after half a day's journey, he decided to rest by the roadside. As he sat down to rest, a spider stealthily approached him. This small spider climbed up his leg and started to spin a fine, shiny silk thread around his leg. Afterward, the spider quietly departed. Although the spider was tiny and its movements were gentle, the traveler noticed this unusual behavior. He gently removed the spider's silk from his leg and hung it on some lush grass by the roadside. In doing so, he allowed the grass to take the place of his leg in being entangled by the spider's silk. The result was remarkable. That night, all the grass, in an astonishing display of strength, was uprooted. It was like a tremendous force of nature, akin to a hurricane, swirling everything in its path, including the grass, wildflowers, and earth, into the river. It is said that because this person was wise, he could see through the spider's plan and thus averted a potentially dangerous situation, coming through the experience unharmed. Once upon a time, in the town of Tokata, in the province of Soku, modern-day Maniwa City, Okayama Prefecture, Japan, there was a rural samurai named Sunroku. One day, as Sunroku was dozing in his side room, in a state of half-sleep and half-wakefulness, a strange old woman appeared before him and said, "My daughter admires you." Without another word, she led him to a house, where he found a beautiful young lady. The young lady expressed her admiration for him and proposed marriage. Sunroku, upon seeing this beautiful woman for the first time, was taken aback by her beauty. While most people might have readily agreed to her request, Sunroku was a man of strong principles. He coldly refused, saying, "I am already married. Besides, This is our first meeting. To speak of marriage is far too hasty. Even a single night of intimacy would be inappropriate. Instantly, the house vanished. He looked round and realized he was in the courtyard of his own home. His attendants, "Was I asleep here the whole time?" His attendants replied, "Yes." Senroku believed that the lady he saw in his dream was, in fact, a Jorogumo who had transformed into a woman and appeared in his dream. To prevent any further occurrences, he ordered his attendants to remove all the spider webs in the house. Afterward, nothing of the sort ever happened again. This tale serves as a lesson that cleanliness ensures safety.
Jorogumo.